Welcome to Nightcrawler's sponsored video, you masochistic bastards. Nightcrawlers is a roguelike RPG with an interesting gameplay concept that uses wobbly physics and enemy spawning is done by the player. If you're interested in buying Nightcrawlers, click on the link in description to access the game's Steam page. Even though this is a sponsored video, thoughts on the game are not gonna be affected by it as always. I'm not one for roguelike genre and rarely play such games, but have to admit Nightcrawlers might be one of the first besides Darkest Dungeon that I actually like, especially considering the simplicity of it. Game works like this. Get into the dungeon and progress as much as you can. Upon dying, return to Sanctuary to purchase permanent upgrades, enchant current equipment, get significant upgrades with boss currency if you want to change cosmetic appearance, and get back in there.
Protector of mankind.
One day we will all cherish the memory of having blacksmiths on every corner.
Dungeon is separated by areas that get closed off until enough enemies have been defeated. Enemies are spawned by the player as many times as you want. There are upsides and downsides of doing this. By spawning more and more groups of enemies, bosses and enemies get stronger. Also, experience points and gear are gained faster the more enemies you kill. By leveling up, 3 cards are randomly offered that grant character upgrades as long as the run lasts. So it is a fine balance that can make player and boss extremely powerful if gone too far, and it can also potentially ruin the run by having low health due to too many battles, since restoration is a rare thing. Enemies during first couple areas start off very weak, so easy experience and gear can be gained, but also enemies need to be spawned more frequently to get more experience. Areas further in offer stronger enemies and more experience per spawn, so less spawning is required. It is quite an interesting approach that puts a lot of control in players' hands. Character attributes are things like heal on kill, ranged damage, melee damage, damage reflection, critical strike chance, magic find and similar things. On top of that, cards grant active abilities such as lightning storms, volcanic eruptions, cosmic push and others, so combining these upgrades can create varied builds that have different approach. Interesting part is the gameplay itself. This is what kept me going and trying to reach the furthest depths. All above mentioned ideas are all good in theory, but if gameplay doesn't deliver, it doesn't mean much. Thankfully, gameplay does deliver. It works in a way that player has melee and ranged attacks, but ranged attacks are automatic. Every time characters stand still, projectiles are fired automatically to closest target, while melee attack needs to be activated and has a brief cooldown. Only defensive option is jump that can be upgraded to dash. Goal is to repel enemies as much as possible without taking hits due to restrictive restoration methods. It kinda plays out like tower defense genre, but instead of building towers, you are the tower. Maneuvering and positioning is extremely important so that melee attacks are not wasted and ranged attacks can automatically activate. Then run away and stop to fire off shots, rinse and repeat. All that fine maneuvering needs to be done while avoiding many traps in each area. Gameplay is really fun, and combined with character upgrades that are significantly felt, it can get quite addictive trying new upgrades that could potentially blow away enemies. Challenges get tougher as we go, so even the best upgrades will require hands-on approach when it comes to character movements in order to avoid even minimal damage. It is paramount to avoid any damage if possible. Nightcrawlers uses very cute graphical style that I'm not usually a fan of, but for this game it is perfect due to wobbly physics. It seems like we are controlling someone quite drunk, which makes it more fun to see such a character blowing enemies away by summoning storms and shooting projectiles at ridiculous pace. Aesthetics remind me of Korpiklani music video for a song Man with a Plan, and I can't shake that connection anymore and loving it. Developers seem to be frequently updating the game with meaningful updates. For example, between 2 playing sessions, update released where enemy attacks have become more telegraphed, so that player has more time to react with melee strikes to push them back or jump at the appropriate time to avoid getting hit. Nightcrawlers is a simple but very enjoyable and well thought out roguelike that is hard to stop playing upon picking it up. It has good mechanics meshed well together to create a rewarding challenge with a dose of randomness that works well in such a game. I hope developer keeps updating it to polish some bugs, add attack animations, enables autosave, and keep playing with RNG to improve it further. If you like what you see and hear, click the link in the description and check it out and enjoy. Thanks for watching and see you soon.